Championships got underway at the National Stadium in Kingston on Thursday morning. In the men's 100 meters qualifying round, the World Olympic 400 meter finalist Christopher Taylor led all qualifiers with a nippy season's best of 10.27 seconds. With the top 25 getting a bye to this evening's quarterfinals, Taylor led the remaining 7, which included the former national junior champion Ashani Smith and Ramon Barneswell, both clocking 10.45. Andre Bent and Nishani Banks each running 10.37, along with Odane Crooks in 10.43 and Jordan Morgan in 10.46. Ricardo, I'm coming straight to you with this one because I want you to tell me how good did Christopher Taylor run today?
Yeah, he looked good to me. One of the things you always look for with an athlete like Christopher Taylor, a 200, 400 athlete running the 100 meters, how does he look in the first 30? And yes, it was a first round with athletes who are not 10-0 or 9-9 sprinters, but he looked good through the first 30, and then from 30 to 70, he looked even better. And I was quite impressed with what I saw because I had my concerns going into the Nationals in terms of him running the 100 meters, not because I didn't think he should do it, but because he hasn't run many 100s in his life.
Yeah. What's his PB?
And 10.11, which incidentally was the joint national junior record when he ran that time with Johan Blake, right, who was also a 10.11 at the time when he set that mark. Incidentally, that 10.11 was set at a very low-key summer meet in Kingston.
Was it Camperdown Classic?
No, it wasn't Camperdown Classic. He did run the 100 at Camperdown Classic one year as well and ran 10.4. But that 10.11 was done at a very low-key meet in the summer. And not a lot of media was there. He was in a race with Sachin Dennis, who was at his best at the time. In fact, Dennis pulled up with about 10 or 15 meters to go when he looked on course for something really, really fast as well. But he looked good to me this morning. I'm happy with the way he performed. In fact, I had a conversation with him post-race, and one of the things he said to me is that he didn't feel as if he pushed himself, which suggests to me that he feels there is more and he can go faster for the quarterfinal round tonight.
And there was a bit of a headwind, right?
Yeah, just negative 0.2. So you turn that around to a positive 1.5, and 10.27 all of a sudden becomes 10.15 or 10.14 or something like that. And if he is saying he did not push, then if he is able to execute equally as well tonight, then he could be in personal best form, and his personal best is 10.11, and that sort of time could get him into the semifinals on Friday. He is in a super tough quarterfinal, though. The quarterfinal heats have come out. There are 4 heats, the top 3 from each, plus the next 4 best on times will advance to the semifinals. He's in heat number 3, and it's a really, really tough one because there it is. It has Conroy Jones, who at his best 10 seconds flat, and he looked good today as well. Conroy Jones ran 10.50 in a negative 3, and he looked as if he was bouncing, looked as if he had a lot more left in the tank. He won his heat comfortably. Unfortunately for him, he barely got in because he had that negative 3 wind. Dominic Williams of the University of Technology in that race. Travis Williams, University of Southern California. He's a 10.13 performer, very good, over 60. Rowan Watson, the national champion of a few seasons ago. Gary Card, the second fastest Jamaican junior in history at 10.06. Kishane Thompson, need I say anything about him?
No.
He's in that heat as well. DeAndre Daly, who I think is a tremendously talented young man, 10.07 at his best, one of the fastest Jamaican juniors ever, transitioning into the senior ranks, and then Chris will run on the outside in lane number 8. So it's a very, very difficult quarterfinal with only 3 guaranteed a place in the semifinals on Friday. But one of the things I also look at is that for me, every single race that Chris gets at 100 meters prepares him better for the 200 meters, which is where I think his genuine shot is at making the team for Tokyo.
Is that the quarterfinal of death, though?
It looks like
There's
that, the
another tough
name.
one. There is another tough one, quarterfinal 2, that has Michael Campbell, who was at the World Championships in 2017, ran the third leg on the 4x1 relay. There's Oblique Seville in that one. There's Raheem Ford, who was in the World Championship final only a couple seasons ago, and he always finds his best at the Nationals, Raheem Ford. There's Jelani Gordon, another super talented young man who knows how to bring it when the Nationals come around. Shakur Williams, who has been improving. He's at Titans, Shakur Williams, and the two athletes who competed for Titans this morning, Christopher Taylor, looked fantastic. In fact, the two Titans athletes this morning probably looked the best of them all. And so if that is anything to go by, then Shakur Williams could be in very good shape as well. So that's another very tough quarterfinal in my estimation. And unlike the women, where they will have 3 semifinals, the men will only have 2 semifinals, only 16 advance. And yeah, this one is going to be good.
Yeah, so the men have a tough shot. They have to get it right.
Yeah, you have to get it right. And it's been the difficulty for a lot of these men. You don't get a chance to ease your way in. You come in at the quarterfinal stage and the fields are hot right away. There's very little room to breathe unless you're just in sensational form and better than the field, like I suspect someone like Kishane Thompson will be.
We'll
Yeah,
also
well,
get a glimpse of the women as well a little bit later on this evening.
Yeah, before you go to the women, though, I was just taking a close look at the men's 100 heats once again. There is no Brian Level. Well, yes, there is Brian Level.
Oh,
he goes in the
because
fourth,
that would have been
and-
breaking news, Ricardo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I take that back.
Okay.
Yes, there is Brian Level. He goes in the 4th and final quarterfinal, which, by the way, is not an easy quarterfinal either. Level is there. I suspect he'll be the
Johan
favorite.
Blake.
Sandra Davison.
Oh, not Johan Blake?
I
I
went
haven't
with you
gotten
on
to him
Blake.
yet.
Okay.
Sandra Davison looked brilliant at the Racers Grand Prix. I was quite impressed. Then you have Taekwondo Tracy, so much experience. If you're talking about experience, then Johan Blake leads the way in that department. I would say, though, there's Nigel Ellis as well, who hasn't looked bad this season. This might be a pretty good quarterfinal for Johan Blake. He struggled last season and didn't get out. Let's see if he can get out this time around.
Yeah, let's talk about the women now and
Oh.
that 100 heats.
So I heard something disappointing this afternoon. that-
Another thing?
Another thing, the bleachers will be closed for the duration of the championship. And I was checking and rechecking. I was hoping that it was not true. It is disappointing because Shelley and Fraser Price will be competing inside the National Stadium for the final time, likely on Friday evening. And to hear that only the grandstand will be open is extremely disappointing.
So nobody
for
bought
me.
tickets for bleachers?
Well, none are on sale.
Oh, so this was in the works from before.
Yeah, so this was apparently the plan from before, and last I checked, before I came on this show, that plan has not changed, which again is beyond disappointing in my estimation. So I guess at this stage, all we can pray for is a jam-packed grandstand to say goodbye to the legend. She will suit up tonight in, what is it, heat number 3 of the women's 100 meters. There are 6 heats, the top 3 from each and the next 6 fastest to advance to the semifinals on Friday evening. And this is the heat that Shelley and Fraser Price will be in. She goes in lane number 4. Looks pretty comfortable for me. Kemba Nelson, 11:30 this season, a 10:88 performer at her best, so you can never count her out. These Jamaican coaches know how to peak their athletes for the big times, and this is a big time, so you expect everyone to produce the best they have produced this season. But I look at this one, Carletta Bernard, the former Mount Alvernia High standout, has run 11:19 this year, but I suspect the Queen should be comfortable in this quarterfinal race.
Yeah, can't wait to see how she does. Anything else you're looking forward to? What about the 400 heats?
Well, you have the other heats as well in the 100 that we're looking forward to as well.
Oh, you're looking forward to all of them? I thought you were
All
just
of
looking
them.
forward to Shelley. Yeah,
All of them.
But I'm looking forward to Shelley.
It's a loaded field, right? Because you have, this is the first one with Crystal Slowly, Sharika Jackson, Natasha Morrison. You can never count her out. She always finds a way to sneak in on that team, even if it is only the relays.
This could be a difficult field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
Sharika,
reason
Dania.
while Natasha Morrison has been on 3 global championship gold medal winning teams for Jamaica, and you don't do that without being very good and without being able to find a really good level at the nationals. There's Danielle Williams as well, the reigning sprint hurdles world champion. She doesn't have to run the sprint hurdles because she has a bye for Tokyo by being the defending champion. But yeah, this is a solid heat. The last two, Shaniqua Bascom, the youngster from Trinidad and Tobago, can't advance. Neither can Kouyaté of Guinea. So they are international competitors and will not be able to advance. But the others will really be battling for those 3 automatic spots. This one, tough, but Tia Clayton, Alana Reid, Janelle Smith are the top 3. Tritania Lowe, another international competitor out of Anguilla, so that's seat number 2. And then where we know, heat number 4, because we've already seen Shelley and Fraser Price's heat, has Shania Douglas, the youngster, going up with the big ones. Brianna Williams, Anthony Straw, another international competitor, Bahamas, Nydia Chance and Mikhail Moody. Not a difficult one, this one. You think Brianna and Tina should be safe, and the youngster Douglas may feel she has a chance of getting through from this one as well. And then heats 5 and 6. This one is an interesting one and could be a tough one, although Ashanti Moore, Shanice Walker, who has gone 10.98 coming out of the U.S. collegiate system, and Shashali Forbes, although she is returning from injury, will be favoured. Kishana Niles is Barbadian, won't be able to advance, the World Under-20 bronze medalist. Crystal Marshall on the outside in lane 8, a sprint hurdler. That's where she'll be expecting to do most damage. And then the final heat, Serena Cole, Jodine Williams, Nisha Berger, Kashika Cameron, and we see another sprint hurdler, Demisha Roswell, in the setup there.
All right, so quickly go over the 400s and what we anticipate from the heats on both the men's and women's side.
Just generally, the women's 400 meters, I'm looking forward to that because I want to see what shape Nikisha Price is in. Last time I saw her, which was at the Grand Slam meet in Philadelphia, I thought she ran brilliantly there at both 400 and 200, 50.05 over 400 meters. And it suggested to me that she is rounding into shape perfectly coming into the nationals, and I expect her to do really well. So too Dejanay Oakley, who won the NCAA, who finished second, at the NCAAs with a new lifetime best and a Jamaican lead. And I think that's going to be a cracking clash come the final on Sunday. And then just to look across the field as well to see who will snatch that 3rd position. One of the things that you'll also realize is that a few of the 400 hurdlers are taking part in the flat 400 as well, like Andronette Knight, who is one of the favorites for the 400 hurdles, but no doubt trying to get a 4x400 spot for the World Championships as well. Of course, Jamaica still has to qualify. They are in a qualifying position at this stage, but there is still time for others to pass them, and hopefully Jamaica will be there. But these athletes are indeed trying to, even Natoya Gould-Toppin, who is running the 800 meters, ran qualifying already earlier today, is listed for the 400 meters. Will be interesting. Geneve Russell, another of the hurdlers listed for the 400 meters. Will be interesting to see if all of them actually turn up.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they have entered, and they have done this double in the past, so it's not the first time that we're seeing them do it. It's going to be interesting. And then on the men's side, quite interesting as well, because a number of quality competitors, but also a number of out-of-form competitors, a number of athletes that we're not 100% sure what to expect from them. DeAndre Watkin is the defending champion. He'll start there in lane number 6 of heat number 1. And 44-4 last season, a lot of injuries throughout his young career, and it will be interesting to see what he does. Sean Bailey has won this title before, He'll go in lane number 6 of the second heat. Good to see Gregor Prince back and entered, the former St. Jago athlete. Kimar Farquharson in the 800 meters. That's his pet event, but again, trying to get a spot on either the 4x4 or the mixed 4x4. So likely the top 8 from the women's and the men's 400 will make it to the World Championships, because it's not just the 4x400 for men or women, but then you have the mixed 4x400 that they have to contend with. Bothwell McPherson, incidentally, is the fastest Jamaican this year. He'll go in heat number 3, lane number 6. There's Therese Roden in there, another 800 man. He ran 4x4 for Jamaica at the World Relays. Rasheen McDonald, the national record holder, you can never count him out.
No,
you know he's going to be there. This is the national championship, and Rasheen McDonald is going to be in form. I can promise you that. So all those who are out there hoping that this courageous young man does not make the team, I tell you, you have another thing coming, because he is very, very difficult to keep out in these big occasions. So you're just not sure, though, what you're going to get with the men's 400 meters. There's Zadrian Barnes as well, who remember when sub 45 earlier this season and has looked a shadow of himself coming in. The kid I have a lot of hope for, and I think he is the one who could shock, is Delana Kennedy. Ran 45.2, personal best at the Racers Grand Prix, split sub 45 at the World Relays. Only Kennedy and Barnes went sub 45 for Jamaica at the Penn Relays, and I just would not be surprised if he comes with a real shocker here and finishes in the top 3. Delana Kennedy, he'll start in lane number 5 of heat number 7 in the men's 400 meters. But this one is open and very difficult to predict, but I like Kennedy to be in the top 3.
No lie, a bit of a downer though with the news that the bleachers will be closed because of the a bit. And we know why. I mean, we do know why, right?
It's a massive downer for me.
Yeah,
but we do know why.
The majority of the people go.
Why that decision would have been taken, especially with the logistical issues that were bound to come on Friday, with the party being held over by the National Stadium East Field.
You think that's why?
I think so.
Oh, I was just thinking that probably it cost so much with security to open the bleachers that they were thinking it wasn't worth it. I don't know that, but that's what was in my head.
Why do you think they would need security if there's another event taking place next door?
But you need security regardless.
Well, fine, but goodness me, man, like you couldn't put together a marketing plan to push more people to come, knowing that Shell will be running there for the final time?
I think a lot of people in Jamaica love to go to the bleachers. Like, I know a lot of people that enjoy the vibes at the bleachers as well, you know, the atmosphere. And I always tend to say the people at the bleachers are more fun than those in the grandstand.
It's disappointing. I am a little bit tired of beating a certain organization, and this time around I am staying silent because I don't want to accuse without knowing the full details. And the fact is, right now, I don't know the full details as to why they are not opening the bleachers. All I'm saying is it's disappointing because a legend is saying goodbye and you are not giving the opportunity for 30,000 Jamaicans to come in on Friday night to witness it, and that is disappointing.
That in and of itself is a crime to me, but whatever.
Break time on the SportsMax Zone.